Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala Rasulil Kareem. Amma ba'd. Brothers and sisters, we continue our book Riyadh Saliheen by Imam Nawawi rahmatullah alayhi. This is the 55th chapter of the book, and the chapter is with regards to living the life of simplicity and keeping the focus of akhirah in front of us. And the hadith for tonight is from Aishah radiallahu anha, when Aishah radiallahu anha qalat, توفي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وما في بيتي من شيء يأكله ذو كبد إلى آخر الحديث رواه الترمذي. The hadith is reported by al-Mu'mineen Aisha radiallahu anha. And of course, who better than Aisha radiallahu anha to report the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that had taken place within his own house and his household. And as we know, that major portion of the life of Rasulullah ﷺ that we find in reported ahadith is from the life of al-Mu'mineen Aisha radiallahu anha. And she is the person from amongst the four Sahaba that have narrated the most ahadith. She is one of those individuals that have narrated the most ahadith of the Prophet ﷺ. So Aisha radiallahu anha reports, and she mentions, and this is hadith of Al-Bukhari and Muslim and also mentioned in Tirmidhi, Aisha radiallahu anha reports and mentions that when the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam passed away, when the Nabi of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had left the face of this earth, she mentions that his house, the house of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, was void from anything edible except from the small quantity of barley that I had on a shelf. Meaning, the entire house of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was empty from anything that was edible, except for only a handful of barley, as they say in Urdu, jo ka aata, flour or wheat that can be only brought in one's hand. She says only a handful of barley wheat that was available at our house, and I had kept it on a shelf that was in my house. And she said, I kept on eating from it as long as the time passed. And then she says, a time came that I measured how much of it was left, and she says it soon finished as well. Even that disappeared, or meaning it finished from our own home. Few things to take back from this very hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. As we know that the Nabi of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is a prophet of Allah who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave the ability or the choice to take whatever he wants from the treasures of this world of dunya, to the extent that the mountains of Mecca and Medina could be turned into gold, but he lived a life of simplicity. Right? He chose the life of simplicity. And the Nabi of Allah ﷺ very often would make this dua, and he would say, Allahumma ahyini miskinan wa amitni miskinan wa ahshurni yawm al-qiyamati ma'al masakin. Oh Allah, allow me to live amongst the masakin, the poor. Oh Allah, allow me to leave amongst the poor. And oh Allah, raise me on the day of Qiyamah amongst those who are the poor. So even though having the choice and the ability, and ulama have mentioned that near the demise of Rasulullah ﷺ, the fatuhat, the victories had begun. Far places began to enter into the fold of Islam, the treasures began to come, but Rasulullah ﷺ did not prefer this for his own self. To the extent that the most beloved person to Rasulullah ﷺ was al-Mu'mineen Aisha radiallahu anha. If someone would have access to this wealth, would be her. But Rasulullah ﷺ also kept her in this condition so that no one could feel that someone was given preferences because they were connected to Rasulullah ﷺ. So the hadith itself defines that when the Nabi of Allah ﷺ left the face of this earth, there was nothing in his household to eat except for only a handful of barley. This is the man for who the entire kainat of the humanity was built for. Right? This is the simplicity of the life of Rasulullah ﷺ, reminding all of us that yes, we have to make effort of dunya, we don't have to go and live in jungles, and there's no rahbaniyat in Islam, but don't make the dunya the ultimate purpose of our life. Don't make this place only the maqsad of our life, brothers and sisters. Make akhirah the purpose of our life. Make akhirah the maqsad and the true destination for all of our lives. And of course, another thing to always ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is for khair and barakah and blessings that we should always ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for. So going back to this particular hadith, the hadith of al-Mu'mineen Aisha radiallahu anha, as a reminder for all of us that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam reminded us As the famous hadith mentions, that the Nabi of Allah said to Ibn Umar radiallahu anhu, "Kun fi dunya ka'annaka gharib aw abirus sabil." Oh my son, if you can, live in this world as a traveler or as a wayfarer. Meaning, live your life in this world as a traveler, as a musafir, not this world as your ultimate destination. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also give us the ability to prepare for akhirah, keep akhirah in front of us, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us from amongst those who can keep the focus and the vision of akhirah in front of them at all times, inshallah. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, subhanakallah wa bihamdik, ashhadu an la